Weddings are one of the biggest wastes of money known to man in American society. From a purely economic, objective point of view, they are a complete waste of money. They are nothing more than a big party with a religious figure such as a minister or rabbi being there, for example. They are a total waste of money. They are nothing more than huge fancy parties. And that's about it in my opinion. If you look at it from that economic point of view, they are a total waste of money. It's basically it's an example of our capitalist system in our free market system when it comes to weddings. I'm totally for the free market. I'm just not for it necessarily in every single area of life. It tends to permeate all of life, and sometimes I think that's actually a bad idea. In this video, I'm going to talk about specifically why I think weddings are a complete waste of economic resources in our society. I'm going to refer to my notes a lot in this video because there's a lot of factoids I want to get out to you if you're considering doing this or you know people that are considering doing this. So here we go. The average cost of a wedding in America, according to Google, is about $40,000. In my opinion, it might even be in the range of about $45,000 to $50,000 when you count inflation recently in this nation. But this is where we're at now for weddings. The divorce rate in America is about 63%. The divorce rate where I grew up in Michigan is about 55% or possibly higher. You see where I'm going with this. In my opinion, contrary to popular belief in our society, businesses, homes, and college degrees are a much better investment than a wedding. A high-profit, low-cost small business is a much better investment than a wedding. Don't buy into all the stuff you hear about college degrees. 60% of jobs in America still require basically 4-year degrees. People still need to get them to get most of the jobs. Your personal development in a career is a much better investment than a wedding, in my opinion. It's a cottage industry like no other with little regulation. I actually did other videos on this and you may want to check them out. In my opinion, to make a long story short, I think at least the food at weddings should be heavily regulated or capped under state laws. We regulate funerals in this country. Why should weddings be any different, in my opinion? Receptions alone can be astronomical when it comes to the cost. 75% of my close friends since college got divorced. About half of the people I knew in my life, politics, and in my career have also divorced. The bottom line is marriages don't last in our society. Divorces can ruin people financially. I've seen it out there in my own life. Many people go bankrupt post-divorce due to the high cost of weddings. I've seen that in my own life. I would love to know what percentage of personal bankruptcies are actually caused by the high cost of weddings in America. I would assume it would be at least a third of them. Marriages don't last in the U.S., as I stated earlier. The average marriage in America is only 8 years. It is shocking but true according to Google. In some areas it might be a little bit longer than that, depending where you live. What I have seen is that the cheaper weddings actually produce better marriages. The cost of a wedding does not define true love. You don't have to prove your love to anybody other than who you're with. This is all over social media. I actually knew people who spent an average of about $55,000 on weddings in my life. I've seen this, and ended up divorced less than 5 years later. This is another reason why I'm totally for birth control. Raising kids in a divorce is a complete mess. I believe in prenups. I guess the moral of the story is if you're going to spend a lot on a wedding, you better get a prenup, especially in that situation. In my estimation, only about 20% of the public can actually afford a wedding. They're really affairs and functions for the rich. That's the reality of it. Don't go into debt for them. I'll give you a couple more factoids. According to Google, most people go into debt to afford a wedding. What a shocker. According to LendingTree, 67% of couples go into debt to afford a wedding. This is insane. Also, according to LendingTree, 31% of people who actually attend a wedding, go into a lot of debt just to be able to afford to attend them. Don't go into debt for them. Get a prenup, or at least get a post-marital contract, which is similar to a prenup and covers almost as much. They're valid in the state of Michigan, and I believe they're valid in about a third of the states. Get something. At least a post-marital contract provides a reasonable way out of a bad marriage, just like a prenup does. People need a way out because the marriages essentially, unfortunately, don't last. That is the reality of it in our country and in our capitalist system. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your comments and your consideration. It's free to subscribe.